It's almost time to go, Sam. Here. It's a dream catcher. Wear it when you sleep, and I'll keep the nightmares away. I'll always be with you.
Good morning, Sam.
Sam, this is Di Hartman. There's a private room set aside for your use. Bridges perk. Take a moment to clean up, wash all that chiralium off, then come to the president's office.
Can do. Welcome back to Death Stranding. And welcome to our private room. Our home, so to speak. Where we can look around, interact with stuff, and fiddle with our Sam Tamagotchi. Make Norman Reedus do embarrassing things by zooming in on him. Oh no. Oh, that's not good. Oh, you folks might wanna look away from this. Ow. Well, I suppose that's the result of the injuries he's been taking over the past couple of episodes. You may recall that Sam's foot has been bleeding since the bike spill in the first episode every now and then. And I guess now we know why. So now we've got chiralium and blood to wash off ourselves. Take a breather, buddy. You've earned it.
Sam, can you hear me?
For fuck's sake. Isn't anything private anymore?
Oh, no. Except for taking a shower and going to the toilet, that is. I take it you were getting yourself cleaned up. Good. Come to the president's office as soon as you're done. She's waiting for you.
Boy, feels like we're just going back and forth between the president's office and our shower lately. For those of you that were interested in Death Stranding's main plot, don't you worry. It's about to get started.
You did well, Sam. Thank you. Bridget may no longer be with us, but her legacy has a chance to live on. Sam, listen to me. America, Reconstructionism, her dream isn't dead.
I don't want to hear it.
This is the face of our new hope. Our new America.
Homily.
My mother may be gone, but I'm here. And you, Sam, you're here too.
Been 10 years since you saw each other, right? And in all that time, she hasn't aged a day.
He knows why. My body's still on the beach. I don't get to grow older. But you do, Sam. You look good.
So you're serious then about reconnecting everyone and everything?
Someone has to succeed Bridget, Sam. More importantly, someone has to carry on her legacy and see our country rebuilt. Samantha America Strand, our new president. A new beginning for our people, for our nation. Under Emily's leadership, we'll re-establish the UCA, the United Cities of America. This is how we'll rebuild our country. But we'll need your help to do it, Sam.
No, I'm through with this. I said my goodbyes to all of you when I said them to Bridget.
We never forgot about you, Sam. You ran away. You cut us off.
Emily put together an expedition. The best of Bridges won, and went west.
I led them past craters in BT territory. I kept them safe while they searched for survivors.
Never once missed a BT. Saw him coming a mile away.
We convinced community after community to join the UCA, and we left behind our own people to help them. It took us 3 years, but we managed to make it all the way to Edge Knot City.
All the way to the Pacific. Jesus.
Yeah, but then everything went to hell. The team was wiped out, and Emily was taken.
Taken?
I'm not being kept in a cell or anything like that. I'm allowed to use their facilities and to speak with you whenever I want. I just can't leave the city.
It's all to safeguard the continued independence of Edge Knot City. Well, that's what our keepers are saying, at least. They want the UCA to leave him be. Emily's their insurance policy in case we don't.
Who are these assholes again?
Homo Demons, militant separatist group. They run Edge Knot City.
I've heard of them. Bunch of terrorists who go around towns killing people and leaving craters.
Right. Nothing's off limits for them. Not even engineering void outs.
You think the suicide that took out Central Knot was one of theirs?
Could be. There are extremists like the demons everywhere, plotting in the shadows. They're decentralized by nature. No one organization to rule them all. Just a common ideology.
I know not everyone shares our vision for the future. If we Americans don't come together again, humanity won't survive. I carried my mother's message to people all across the country. But not everyone was willing to accept it.
More than a few would rather stay isolated. Keep to themselves. Go it alone. Like you, Sam. They think that America can only be rebuilt by force, by men who tell them what to do, who take away their freedom and put them in shackles.
What'd you put on me, huh? You know better than the demons. Just another kind of cult.
They're not shackles, Sam. They're a symbol of our bonds. That's what we need right now. Not to stand apart, but to come together, to form chiral knots and reconnect.
Sam, we want you to go west and finish what Emily started. The people she left behind have been hard at work, setting up chiral network terminals. But these terminals are still isolated. We need you to bring them online. And for that, you'll need a Cupid. This contains all the necessary security and operations protocols to integrate a terminal into the chiral web. Take the Cupid west, Sam, and reconnect the people of our great nation. And when you get to Edge Knot City, find Emily and bring her home.
After that, I'll take over the presidency and carry on Mother's work to save the country.
This was Bridget's dying wish. This is how we'll move forward.
Please, Sam. We need you.
I'm Sam Porter Bridges now. I'm not a Strand. Hell, I'm not even part of this outfit. You all saw to that. I'm not getting involved with you, or anyone else, ever again.
Wait!
See? It's like I'm not even here. Same as it ever was.
Sam! Sam! Hold on. Stop! Listen to me. America needs you. Both of you.
Yeah, covering the world in cable didn't bring an end to war and suffering. Don't act surprised when it all comes apart if you try to do it again. Round and round it goes. Connect, reconnect, it's not that simple.
All right, Sam. Just take it easy. I get it. You don't have to commit to anything now. Why not get some rest?
Good idea. We all need our sleep. Leave it too long and you're liable to reconnect with the other side. The necessary maintenance has been completed. Various adjustments and fine-tuning for your benefit. You can use it again. For once, it would seem that Dooms and BBs are a good combination. Or perhaps the two of you have something of an affinity for one another.
If I told you that Death Stranding was about to put us through another dream sequence, would you believe me? Don't worry. This is the last one for a while, I promise.
Sam. Listen. You are Sam Strand.
No, I'm not. Not anymore. My name is Sam Porter Bridges.
It's a funny word, Strand. A strand is part of rope or bond, while stranding means being washed up on the shore. And being stranded is when you can't go home. I'm stranded now, Sam. Here on the shore of the Pacific. Thousands of miles away, but our bond still holds. You're free, but we're still connected. Don't tell me we're not. Come back, Sam. I'll be waiting for you.
Sam, this is Die Hardman. You were out like a log. Must have been beat. Private rooms come with all the basic amenities. Shower, toilet, etc. Drop in when you need to rest. Inspect your gear, review info, or whatever else. If you have any questions, feel free to ask our staff. But before you do, why not check things out for yourself? See how Bridges operates these days.
Good idea. I think we'll take another shower, just to make sure we've really cleaned under those fingernails.
Sam, Hartman here. Researcher devoted to uncovering the secrets of the beaches and the Death Stranding, as well as those of dooms and repatriates. The shower in your room was designed with chiral decontamination in mind. Chiral matter can adversely affect hormone secretion and nervous function. There's a correlation between exposure and the development of phobias, as well as in extreme cases, violent and suicidal impulses. Chiralian contamination has even been postulated as a trigger for the onset of dooms. I should add that these showers have another function: the collection of blood, hair, fluids, and other natural waste products. They provide a non-invasive means to monitor your exposure to chiralium and your overall health, and I freely admit a chance to study the unique properties of your physiology, you being a repatriate and all.
Well, I don't blame you for wanting to treat Sam like a science experiment. I mean, he is a pretty interesting guy, what with the ability to come back from the dead, after all. And it's interesting. It seems they have just given an explanation for Sam's aphenphosphobia. They mentioned it very briefly in passing, of course, but as Hartman explained, it may have been caused by his dooms. And don't you worry, I'm not going to brush over the fact that we are, in fact, drinking actual cans of Monster Energy to give us extra stamina. I mean, I would be remiss if I didn't stop and force you to watch every single time I destroyed poor Sam's kidneys and beyond with crystallized taurine. You can drink all 5. There's no reason to actually drink all 5 unless you really want to torture the poor guy, but I would like you to make note throughout this Let's Play of just how many times Sam Porter Bridges actually drinks or eats something other than Monster Energy. You can get an extra 25% boost on your stamina, which is neat. It's pretty neat. And as we progress through the story, we'll unlock more of these little figurines, which we'll take a look at in depth a little later. And of course, the sunglasses he was wearing in the intro are here, and we can put them on whenever the hell we want. Fun fact, they actually stop you from putting on some of his wearable gear during the segment where we're taking Bridget to the incinerator. I'm guessing because they don't want him to, put on a hat or sunglasses and screw up the cutscene any. They'll stop us from doing that every now and then.
Hey there. Believe we've met. I oversee delivery operations as well as maintenance and repairs. Nice to have you on board. I'm Mama, in case I didn't mention it before. Those there are strands. Not just used for packing, by the way, but for identification too. Take a closer look and you'll see. See the red there? That's your blood.
That's odd, an odd form of identification, but I guess it's good to have some kind of medical record in case the worst were to happen. Not that Sam can actually die and stay dead, but for normal people it might be a little bit more useful.
This case will remove any chiral matter still clinging to your suit. Speaking of suits, blue is for delivery personnel, red for medical, orange for corpse disposal, and black for security.
Hey, I mean, that makes sense. It seems like it would be good to have color-coded suits, just so that you could tell from a distance what kind of a job people are on. Like having a work uniform, almost. But of course, wouldn't be a modern video game without the ability to truly customize our colors to be whatever we want. Right now we don't have too many, and we can only customize our sunglasses. But soon we'll have a whole list of stuff. I mean, you saw the size of that list. There's a lot of entries on it.
Sam, this is Deadman. I calibrated your BB based on physiological data we collected from you earlier. It's still just a best guess, though. After you take it out for a spin, we can check if you're in sync and tweak the BB sensitivity as needed.
I mean, I don't know how much you need to do that. Kid did pretty well last time we were hanging out together.
Oh.
Even if it is a weird abomination of nature science experiment, it seems pretty happy with its lot. But it's important to keep it that way, of course. The BB's mental state is just as important as our mental state, given that it directly affects its ability to detect BTs. And we can get likes from the BB whenever we want, by going over to our mirror here and striking a fancy pose or 2 or 10 or 15 or however many animations they gave him. There are so many different animations for messing around in this mirror. It's silly almost how many animations there are. But I feel I should mention that this is all Norman Reedus. This isn't specifically stuff that they told him to do. Norman Reedus has talked a little bit about doing the motion capture for this specific area of the game. What they did was they put the motion capture suit on him. They sat him down on a recording stage, a studio recording stage, and they said, okay, there's the mirror, there's all of the various stuff. Do whatever you want. There's where your supplies are, there's the sunglasses and the monsters and all that stuff. Go for it. And they let the cameras roll and let him do whatever. And he did. And it resulted in some pretty fun stuff, I think.
With that terminal there, you can browse the Bridges database, which has info on a range of subjects. You don't have clearance for everything, but there's still plenty you might find informative.
It's also got a music player. So when we're in the private room just chilling out, taking a break from all the deliveries, we can see any active orders we have, as well as read stuff like our gameplay log, which tells us the history of the pop-ups we've got on the side of the screen. Or read interviews or other data that we might pick up along the way. This menu is also how you customize your private room, but we don't have the ability to do that yet. You can also save your game here, if you want to do that. You can do it at any time from the menu, but if you specifically want to save your game in the private room, this is where you do it. It's kind of neat that they integrated the menus and stuff into the game world in a weird sort of way. We can't enter the normal pause menu in here, but that little notice board is pretty much an accurate replacement. Now let's get out of here and do some delivering. Oh, hey boss, how you doing?
Well, have you had a chance to think it over? Chock full of chiralium, but safe for you Dooms guys to wear. That's all you'll need to go forth and reconnect the world. To make us whole again.
I'm a porter. I don't care about connecting anything. Or making knots. But I'll do what I have to help Amelie out.
Listen up, Sam. The terminals Amelie's people built in the towns and cities they passed through on their journey west are called knots. The infrastructure's there, but the Cairo network is offline. Right now, it's only capable of transmitting voice communications. Sometimes wired, sometimes wireless, and a small amount of data. So, unless the necessary data is stored on site, our chirograms won't show up. Emily and the other Bridges members you've seen around the place are grams generated with local data. In case you didn't know. Anyway, all you've got to do is find the knot, connect your Cupid, and bring Cairo Communications online. Once you connect it to the terminal, you'll be able to initiate zero-time massive data transmission with the UCA network. And just like that, you'll reconnect us not only to each other, but to our past. All the lost and fragmented junk data will be compiled and restored, like bringing a dinosaur back to life from a fossil. $4.6 billion years of history on Earth. All the wisdom and knowledge we lost since the Death Stranding will be ours again. And that, my friend, is how we'll beat this thing. Once you establish Cairo Communications, generating grams won't be an issue. You'll also be able to use Cairo printers. Won't be long before we're able to send all kinds of things through the wire.
Except anything original. Or that's got a soul. Nothing real. Just copies.
True. Which is why we'll still need porters like you. Before and after we're made whole, we'll need men in the middle.
No rest for the wicked, huh?
Yeah, well, idle hands and all that. We'll give you the details at the dispatch terminal. Make sure you check it upstairs. Drop's waiting up there, too.
These shoes look like they've done some serious miles. Shall I dispose of them?
Wait. Hold on. There's something I want you to look into. My blood seemed to set those things off. Happened more than once.
Set them off? How do you mean?
I don't know. You took my blood, didn't you? You tell me.
All right. I'll see what I can do.
Take care of him. I promise you. Baby. Baby. Baby, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Steady.
Once more under the breach. Let's do this. At every distribution center, just to the side of the main platform, there'll be a delivery terminal where we can pick up new stuff, drop stuff off, and fabricate whatever we need to reunite America.
Sam, this is Die Hartman. Your current objective is to extend the chiral network from here to Port Knot City. But don't think you can make a beeline straight for it. Signal won't carry that far. To cover the distance, we need to utilize knots. Think of it like tying ropes together to make a longer rope. The first of these knots is a Bridges way station. Go ahead and take a look at the order. Deliver whatever they need, and connect the Cupid.
Well, that's not a very subtle metaphor, but I can see why they would call them that. Makes sense. And so, welcome to the main gameplay loop of Death Stranding. Time to make our way west.
The last void out in Central Knot City brought deliveries to a standstill. Until now. Your cargo for this run is a batch of smart drugs. Oxytocin, to be precise. Oxytocin is effective at reducing stress. So much so that some folks call it a love or happy hormone. Once you've completed the job, connect the way station to the network using the Cupid.
Sounds easy enough, but it looks like there's a bunch of mountains in the way, so it probably would be better if we prepared.
Sam, order summaries may contain information critical to your success. Make sure to review them before getting underway.
I like this menu. This order summary screen. It gives you a good rundown of the hazards that we might encounter along the way over there on the right. You know, supplies that it recommends we bring for the journey, along with a small description of what we're actually carrying, if you care to look at that kind of stuff. If you don't care and you just want to deliver boxes, I guess that's also something you can do. But it's nice that they give you just a little bit more world building. And of course, the game was kind enough to gift us some supplies so we don't have to craft them ourselves this time. But eventually, we're not going to be so lucky. Because some of these places have been disconnected from the network for a while, I'd assume.
Sam, now we've supplied you with some rope and a ladder for this run. They should help with the steeper inclines, and the ladder will also make a halfway decent bridge if you need to cross a river. Right now, I figure you're thinking about how you want to handle this order.
In fact, I am. I would appreciate it if you would ease off the tutorializing just a little bit so that I can explain this video game. Oh wait, it looks like I have a chance. Here you can see we can stack stuff on our shoulders and our hips also, because our fancy new improved porter suit has spots there to put stuff. Our backpack has a tool rack. We can hang anything we're going to be using immediately. And on our back, we can tie down anything that we do not want to get damaged. It kind of looks like a box samurai of some kind.
Order assigned.
Especially with the little ponytail. Very Kurosawa.
Beginning scan. Have a pleasant journey.
Let's do this. It's a long way to the way station, but we've got a lot to talk about along the way. A lot more things to bring up and tutorialize so that I can beat Die Hard Man to the punch.
Sam, triple-checked your loadout, I take it?
In fact, I've done that. But in case we need to look a little closer, we can hold down one of the D-pads and it'll pull up everything we've got on our shoulders and our back, as well as one other icon that we're going to ignore until later when it will be funnier. And we can pull out anything that we've got. You know, ladders, supplies, anything we need to place or pull out and use at a moment's notice. Even stuff on our back. All of these boxes are attached with magnets, so anytime we need to disconnect something, we just need to give it a good tug. Or, I guess Sam does. They don't make you do that part.
Have a pleasant journey.
Sam, you see that sign someone left over there? You can leave some of your own if you'd like. Messages, warnings, words of encouragement, whatever comes to mind.
Ah, yes, of course. We have our first online feature. Anytime we want to, anywhere in the game world, we can leave messages for other players, and if they're on our same server, they'll see them. But before we do that, let's take a look at this watchtower and see what we're working with. Because that mountain looks, it looks a little steep, shall we say. Incinerator, you can see the strands coming down from the sky. Still covered in BTs. And unfortunately, it looks like the scenic route to the way station is too. So maybe let's not go that way. We got all these ladders for a reason. Let's put them to use.
Keep on keeping on.
The signs that other players leave behind give you tiny little intrinsic bonuses. Stuff like, you know, restoring a little bit of your stamina or giving you some likes. Just in case you need them along the journey. And the ones that we leave for other players will of course do the same. Now this mountain, there are a couple of ways around it. You can see on the left over there's a teeny tiny little pass that we could go through if we wanted to take the long way and be extra safe. But that would require going by the incinerator, so maybe let's not do that, because I got a feeling the BTs there are still chowing down on whatever's left of Bridget. Instead, let's just set out. Sometimes the straight path is the better path to take.
Sam, even the best porters have been known to lose their cargo. But you're better than the best. You've got what it takes to finish what they started. If you come across any abandoned shipments, consider taking them to their intended destination.
It's easier than you might think. See, all our packages are tagged with Bridges IDs for easy tracking. And your Odra deck is equipped with a scanner which might detect said IDs. Which is a roundabout way of saying that that thing on your shoulder can help you locate mislaid shipments.
Remember, Sam, every parcel is a promise made to a person in need. And they're counting on you to deliver.
Don't you worry. They don't call me the Great Deliverer for no reason. Although, I guess we're going to have to level up our delivery star a little bit more in order to earn that name. Sam's probably been out of the game for a little while, as a freelance contractor. But yes, Die Hard Man mentioned that ladders do make for a decent bridge if you need to get over troubled water. And instead of fording the river and risking the quality of our cargo and the mental health of our BB, we can use ladders to get over. And not only that, we can jump off them, just in case they don't quite reach far enough. As you can see, cargo doesn't stack perfectly evenly on Sam's back, but if we're careful in the order in which we can pick stuff up, we can get it to balance out without having to go into the menu and do it ourselves. The game will try its hardest to organize everything in a nice rectangular or square stack, like that. Generally, Sam will put stuff into the spot where it'll fit, you know, Tetris style. But he doesn't stack stuff on his shoulders or his hips, and there's no hotkey or hot button, I guess, to be able to do that by yourself. So we're going to have to go into the menu if we want to put anything on his shoulders. Which is generally why you're going to see me putting stuff like ladders and climbing ropes on his body, because generally you don't need to rearrange those. And you also don't need to use them if you can just ford the river by yourself. I just like the amount of utility stuff has. Even a ladder can be used in multiple situations besides using it to climb up tall hills and stuff. Now this lost cargo is actually quite important, not just for fulfilling the needs of the people in the game world, but also for improving our relations. You might have noticed that when we deliver a package to its destination, there will be a secondary star counter in the bottom right. Now that secondary star counter corresponds with the total number of likes we've received from delivering stuff to that party. The more packages we bring at once, the farther they have to travel, and in a lot of cases, the bigger the package is, the more likes we'll receive and the faster our relationship will improve. Makes sense? However, It's probably not a good idea to just leave lost cargo sitting around in the world because, I mean, this area is particularly volatile. You never know when the timefall is going to pass through and just melt it. And in such cases, when we can't or don't want to deliver stuff all the way ourselves, enter the post box. I mean, we're a postman. Post box is kinda in our job description.
Good work, Sam. I see you brought in some lost cargo. Feel free to submit it here for processing. If you come across any more while out on a run and don't think you can carry it to its destination, you can always put it in storage. It'll be safe and secure until another porter comes along to finish the job. Even if it has to pass through a dozen more hands before it arrives, you can rest easy knowing you did your part.
And indeed, should we so feel like it, we can deliver the cargo right here, into a shared pool, where other people playing Death Stranding can pick it up and take it the rest of the way, to share the likes with us.
Your private locker can be used to store cargo and the like.
Yes, thank you, Die Hard Man. You might have noticed that characters in this game have a habit of explaining the tutorial that is already on screen out loud, which ends up wasting twice as much time. It's a little annoying. But the good news is we're gonna get a break from all that pretty soon. We are, technically speaking, still in tutorial land. After all, this is the first time we've ever interacted with a post box. I guess the game might as well make sure we know what it does and how to use it. And in fact, all of the cargo that's sitting around in this first delivery is predetermined. All this cargo will always be the same. But once we get out of these first couple of tutorial deliveries, we're going to connect into what is called an online shard. I think it's called a shard. I think that's the official term for it, where you are hooked up with a couple hundred other Death Stranding players. And should we leave any of our cargo out in the game world and just walk away, it'll become lost cargo for them, and they'll be able to pick it up and take it to its destination to get the likes instead. Of course, we will get some of the pity likes in the process, but that's probably not very good for improving your relationship with people, now is it? So whenever I can, I'll make sure to deliver stuff myself.
Sam, if you come up against a sheer cliff or a steep slope, don't forget about the ladder we issued you. Be sure to try it out. I'd be interested to see what uses a seasoned pro like you might find for it.
I like this framing device. I like that they have established Sam as someone with experience, as Die Hard Man has just so kindly complimented us. Thank you, Die Hard Man. Sam is a seasoned pro, and so anything that the player can think of to do, any creative uses for stuff like our ladders, it reasonably can be assumed that Sam would have thought of it himself. And it integrates the player into the game world in a really interesting way by making it so that Sam is as ingenious about his usage of our tools as the player is willing to be. For example, using ladders to cross rivers, or other such things we may someday use them for, besides just pure traversal up and down cliffs. It's really interesting. I really like it when games bother to give your main character some experience in what they're about to embark on. I like it better that way, because they don't have to act like an idiot and belittle the player almost when they have to have everything explained to them. Of course, I guess that doesn't stop Death Stranding from doing it anyway, but you get what I mean. The spirit is there. Unfortunately, we picked up our first extra large container, and extra large containers are a little bit hard to balance, and in such cases, we can go into the cargo menu and just hit triangle to have the game automatically balance everything for us. It doesn't always get things right. As you can see, the Oxytocin we're supposed to deliver is on top, so if we stumble and fall over, it'll fall off our back and get damaged. But generally speaking, it's pretty smart about it. It's pretty smart, but it's also focused a lot on balancing your weight instead of balancing what is actually important. For example, you may have noticed that it put some cargo on my hips there, so if we wade through a stream or something like that, it'll get wet. And for these packages, that doesn't really matter, but for some, it matters quite a lot that you don't get it wet. So a lot of the time I'm going to be avoiding the auto-balancing, unless I don't have a lot of time to arrange my cargo, you know, stressful situations or it just doesn't fit the moment. Unless it's one of those scenarios, I'll just balance it myself, because it doesn't take too much longer, and it gives you a lot more fine control. And of course, we have immediately made our box stack all wiggly again, but that's okay. We're about to use these climbing anchors to get down this cliff. Because on the horizon is our destination. Unfortunately, we've still got a long way to go. And I think that's one thing this game channels very well, is that idea of, wow, I made it to the top of this mountain. I can stand and look around and see where I've come from and how far I have left. Oh no, I have so far left to go. But I guess I don't mind that, because real life is like that too. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people watching this have probably, I don't know, run a mile in a physical education class or run cross country or something like that, and you pass by the teacher and the teacher says, "That's lap 1 done, 3 left to go." And then you think, oh no, I've got so far left to go. But when you finally get there on the final lap and you collapse with exhaustion and you feel like you're gonna die, it's almost a little bit more rewarding because you had that moment where you didn't think you could do it or you thought you had too far to go. It's interesting. Video games are really good at channeling that specific reward center, I think, in our weird primate, barely evolved brains. Of course, it's not like this terrain is especially hazardous. I mean, all we've really got to do now is walk over these rocks without slipping and falling and embarrassing ourselves on the internet, which is actually a little more difficult than I may have implied in earlier episodes. Mostly, I guess, because we haven't had to walk over much hazardous terrain so far. You can see I'm hoisting my shoulders again, but that'll only get you so far. A lot of the time when I'm walking downhill, you will see me walking and not jogging or sprinting, especially if I have a big wiggly box stack like this. Because, I mean, it's not infallible. Hoisting your shoulders does give you a good amount of grip, but you can still slip and fall pretty easily, especially with the boots we have. I mean, these are just the basic porter boots. They ain't special in any way. I wonder what Sam thinks about all this. I wonder if he's having a good time. Okay, I guess I've got my answer. Fair enough, Sam. I guess to him this is just another job. Maybe it hasn't yet dawned on him just how long of a trek this is going to be. I mean, we did kind of get pestered into doing it. But I'd like to save Amelie. I'm sure she'd be appreciative, and so would the rest of Bridges. I like how quickly this got personal for the guy. And by like, I mean, I feel bad for him. He didn't ask for any of this. But I mean, I guess on our way to tie these knots and unite America and all that stuff, we're going to essentially be doing what Sam would have been doing anyway. So, in a way, I guess he could justify this as just being part of the job. A particularly hazardous part of the job that's going to take us to parts unknown, but part of the job nonetheless. Now the game is tutorializing us here, or rather I guess it just was. We can deliver cargo, lost cargo specifically, to destinations through other way stations, but you don't receive nearly as many likes, and you're connection relationship hardly goes up at all. If at all. I don't even remember if it goes up at all because I've basically never done it. I suppose we'll see later on in the Let's Play because I have to do it at some point. I'm a completionist. I need to show off everything Death Stranding has to offer. Picking up every box, visiting every way station, delivering every single piece of cargo, whether rain, sleet, or shine.
Beginning scan. Scanning Bridges ID. Verifying ID. Clear. Cargo verified. Thank you.
You're welcome. You can see when we reach a way station, any cargo specifically for that way station will light up on our back, just so we don't forget what we're here to actually deliver. But any lost cargo, we'll have to sort that out for ourselves. And just in case we're unable to carry anything that is currently on our back when we stop for a rest, we can put all that stuff in the box and deal with it later. Just like the post boxes. One delivery of Oxytocin coming up. Enjoy your love drug.
Delivering cargo.
Thank you. We've all been feeling the loss of Central Knot City. No one seemed to know what it meant for the organization, or the UCA, or us. The Oxytocin will take the edge off, and that'll be a big help. Won't be long before we're back on track. You may have a luck. This is great. Thank you again. Yeah, everything looks to be in good order. And soon our way station will be too, I hope.
It is understandable, if a little bit of a bummer, that we're delivering anti-depressants in the post-apocalypse. I feel like that's something that post-apocalyptic fiction hardly ever dwells on. Sure, they talk a lot about the human element, but hardly ever something so personal as someone being depressed, or a group of people being depressed. I mean, what do you do when the pharmacy isn't around to fill up your prescription anymore? Gotta get it from somewhere else. Thankfully, Bridges seems to have maintained that kind of an infrastructure, even in the post-apocalypse. Don't ask me how. Although I suppose the timefall can't have melted everything. At some point, there had to be some oxytocin lying around that they could synthesize or figure out how to produce through the magic of 3D printing. I tell you, that chiral network, man, it can do anything. The amount of things it will do will amaze you as we go forward.
You're with the second team, right? Where are the others?
Dead. Caught in the void out.
No way. That one blast got them all? And what, they just sent you out on your own? I mean, if it was just a delivery, that'd be one thing. Porters come through from time to time, but the second team was meant to bring the Cupid. They were gonna connect us up. 3 years we've been waiting for help. 3 years. And they sent us one guy. Shit. Tell me you brought more than the Oxy, at least.
I've got the Cupid.
You... Really? So it's true. They finally got it working. Well, then you just might be the answer to my prayers. So what are you waiting for? You put us on the goddamn grid.
I'd be happy to. Let there be internet. One down, and boy, it kind of looks like we're already making headway, which is weird. The United States is a lot smaller than I remembered. Welcome to the UCA, George Batten, or George Baton. Either way, your name is quite fitting. And hey! Now we have the ability, and I guess the chiral network bandwidth, to see other players' structures in the area we've just connected. Nice! As well as build stuff ourselves. One hell of a reward.
Connection to Capital Knot City confirmed. It's really happening. Just like Amelie promised. We can finally do what we came here to do. Hey, you're headed west, right? Gonna be a lot of people happy to see you. Guess you'll keep on till you hit the coast, huh? Which means you'll get to see Amelie in person. Oh, that's something. That is really something. I've never met her. Only seen her holo messages back when I was with the first expedition. Well, anyway, you best be careful on the road. There's some bad people out there. More than good, some say. But I don't need to tell you that.
Thank you, Sam. By bringing that way station into the Cairo network, you've put it in direct contact with those of us back here in Capital Knot City.
Right. What's next?
West of the way station are a couple of structures our previous expedition put in place. And beyond them is your next destination, Port Knot City. It's on the shore of a crater lake that formed after the first void out. Your objective is to link up Port and Capital Knot. But to do that, you'll need to utilize our facilities as additional waypoints. They'll be essential for establishing a stable connection. Given the distance we need to cover, we're looking at using a distribution center and a power station, as to which you should head for first. Start with the distro center. We've got some cargo that needs delivering anyway. Check the nearby delivery terminal to pick it up.
And I'll see you all next time, when we drop off all this lost cargo and make our way to the distro center.
Access delivery terminal for further information.